If you're looking for a minimal effort way to completely change the personality of your 2018 or newer JL Wrangler, this RedRock Torch Grille is a great option to consider. Now, before I get into the details, I do want to say that this does not have provisions for the front grille trail cam, so just keep that in mind while you're checking this out. Now, if you don't have the trail camera in the front, this grille is a perfect replacement for a damaged factory grille, or more likely the basic look that it has, swapping it out for a more sinister vibe and a more dynamic appearance. This also integrates lights. You can't really tell on the table right now, but this is going to be a great choice if you're looking for a more unique way to add some amber lighting or accessory lighting to the front end of your build. Now, this is more than just an angry grille with all of the details that are going on here, but it does have a sharp upper brow cutting off a slight portion of those headlights, which creates a very angry look. Now, this grille is a bit more detailed than the average angry grille swap though, with a perforated upper portion in the brow and a detailed main grille section that has a more non-traditional mesh design, especially with the strips of amber LEDs framing the underside of the main brow. Now, this amber lighting is bright and offers a substantial improvement, keeping your JL much more noticed for style, of course, but also in inclement weather, keeping you a bit safer. Now, while this necessarily isn't a performance upgrade, that center section is also pretty tight knit, so it'll allow proper airflow through the grille, but also provide a good barrier between your integral components that are behind the grille and whatever could kick up on the street or even off-road. Now, when talking about the rest of the grille, around the headlight cutouts, on the top of the brow, and even below the headlights also have some angular details that really make this stand out compared to the average setup. Now, this is made of an injection molded ABS plastic material, which is rigid enough to take a hit or handle any debris, as I mentioned, that might possibly fling up. Now, with it being molded, it also makes it a direct fit when swapping it out from your factory grille, making the install hassle-free, and it comes with all of the provisions and hardware in order to do so. The grille also comes in a matte black finish, which can be run just like this for a darker look to the front, or you can paint match it with the right prep and paint process if you want to customize this further. The LED lighting is also pre-wired in the back. It does come with a wiring harness and all of the necessary hardware for that wiring for a very simple install, and the LEDs themselves are high intensity while being efficient, so you will be able to enjoy these for years to come. Now, this is about $300, which is a little higher on the price spectrum compared to some other options in the category, but is right on par with other choices that include lighting. Now, choosing a style really comes down to what you want to see with your build when it comes to the design and personality, and a grille is definitely one of them. But if you do know you want more than the typical brow that some have to offer, a more busy center portion to the grille and included amber lighting specifically, then this is a great choice. It takes a step outside of the box with the appearance, especially with the lighting, so if you're looking for something different on the front end, this is a great choice to consider. Install here is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take you about an hour or so to get this bolted and all wired up. Now, at this point, I'm going to hand you over to one of our installers so they can show you a detailed breakdown on how you can install this onto your JL at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need a clip removal tool, a small pry tool, wire strippers and crimpers. For how we did ours, male spade connectors and some T-taps, or the provided inline taps not shown here. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a grill on our Wrangler, so let's get started. Alright, so to get started, we've got our hood open, and to remove our grill, the top part of our grill is held in by a bunch of push clips that we'll need to remove. We're also going to be removing these seal pads, which are also held in with push clips, so we've got our clip removal tool. And we'll just start popping these out. These ones can be a little bit tough. Have to work on them a little bit. Pop that out. Get our other one out. We'll set these aside. Now we'll pull all of our push clips out. You want to save these because we'll be reusing them for our new grill. Now, if you don't have a clip tool, you can use a flathead screwdriver to get these out with the same method. Now, once you've got all of your push clips out of the top, the entire grill pretty much will be free. Now, the center and bottom of your grill are held in by locator clips. We'll just need to give a little pull on each side to release those. We can pull our grill out and set it aside. Alrighty guys, now that we have our grill off, we have it on the table because we're gonna need to remove a few things to transfer over to our new grill. The first of which being this upper seal strip. Now that's held in by some small blue clips along the underside. So again, we're gonna use our clip removal tool and very carefully pop those out. Now this does move around a bit so you can actually pull it back and see the clips you're trying to get to. So we're gonna pull this back a hair just to see these clips. Very carefully pop them out. And we can set our seal strip aside. And once we have that done, we're also going to be removing our clips holding our upper support bracket in place. We're not going to be reusing the support bracket itself, but we are going to reuse that hardware. So we'll pop those out. You have your larger clips on the two ends. And smaller ones throughout. Now these can be a little bit tougher to get into. If you need to, you can always come from in between the support bracket and the grill itself. And that'll push that up if you get those out. Again, because this goes through both the grill and the support bracket, if you get it out of the support bracket, you can actually use the bracket to kind of push that clip up and out of the grill. Just makes things a little bit easier, especially if you want to save your grill. You don't want to mar it up and dig into it too much. Now the last thing we're going to need to grab off our factory grill are these vampire clips to transfer over to the new grill. So we've got a small pry tool. These do have teeth that bite in, so you do need to kind of wedge those out to release their grip on the plastic. You don't want to bend them too much because you do want them to retain that shape. Sometimes they can pop off in a high-speed fashion. You want to be careful of that. As you'll notice, a couple of ours are actually broken off, so we won't be able to grab all of them. Now we can set our factory grill aside. Now we've got our new grill on the table and we're going to install our vampire clips onto the new one. This can be a little bit tough to get on at first. So now we've got our new support bracket. We're going to line that up onto our grill, get our new clips in place. Factory ones rather. This can be a little bit tough at first, and it may even be easier to push your end clips, the larger ones, into the grill first. We can hold these in place, get those lined up. So now we'll get our two end clips lined up. We'll line up the rest of them. Now, if you're wondering which holes are which, the recessed holes are going to be the ones for your retainer clips for your support bracket. Now we can install our factory strip seal. Line that up with the holes. Now we're going to begin installing our new grill. First, we're going to get our locator clips in place. We'll line those up. And then you want to give a firm push. Make sure they're all lined up. Alright guys, so before we move forward with installing the upper part of our grill, we need to install our harness for our lights. And we're going to be tapping into our DRLs on the fenders. So what we need to do first is strip out some sheathing on our negative and positive wires for our harness. So we've got our wire strippers. I'm going to expose some wire. And once you have those exposed, you want to give them a little twist. This just cleans up any stragglers and makes things a lot easier to get into the connectors. Now we're going to be using male spade connectors because we already have T-taps on our vehicle. However, your kit does come with some inline taps, and we'll show you how they work as well. For now, we're going to get our male spade connectors installed. What I like to do is lightly grab the connector itself with the crimpers, get my wire through, and crimp that down into position. And once you get these crimped, I like to give them a light tug just to make sure the connection is solid. We'll do the same thing for a positive wire. Okay, once we've got those in, we can move over to the vehicle with it. Now we're going to grab each of our connectors on the other end of our harness, and we have a plug for each of our lights. We're just going to plug all those in. Next, we want to make sure the remainder of our harness is going to go down through the open space into our fender area, because that's where we need to be to tap into our harness. Next, we can get our upper support bracket lined up. We'll get all of our clips reinstalled. Once we have those on, we'll also get our little foam seals back in place. Line those up with your mounting holes. So now we're over to our fender area for our DRL hookup. Now, as you may notice, our fender liner is no longer with us. However, if you do have yours still on, you can easily gain access to this. There should be a push clip back in here. You can pop that out with your clip removal tool, kind of pull back, and that'll get you access to these wires. Now, as I mentioned, your kit does come with some inline taps. So how that's going to work is you would take the exposed wires from your harness. Again, you still want to expose them, and it will have a blunt end in the clip. You just want to slide that in, and then as our T-taps work the same way, you would place the main harness wire into the saddle and clamp that over it, and then tighten that down, and that will create your connection. Now, since we already have T-taps on ours, we're going to plug into our 2-wire connector. That's going to be for our side marker / DRL light. So we'll match these up. The white wire to the red, and our black wire to our black. And once you have these connected, you can tuck your excess wiring up however you see fit. Secure it up out of the way. You just want to make sure it's not going to be interfering with your turning radius of your wheels or anything else that's going to be moving or hot, so you don't damage your harness in the process. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our RedRock Torch Grille for your 18 to current Jeep Wrangler JL without trail cam. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.